Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Hany Ismail from Planning Engineer website. I'm going to start a series of live discussions with you about planning. So in this series, we will talk about your questions. If you have any questions about construction planning, how to do such things, I'll be very happy to answer all your questions. So we just started today, and I'm looking to see your comments. If you have any questions, ask me about anything in construction planning, and let's have some kind of discussion. And we will be doing it in a regular basis, so we can have some kind of communications with each other. Let's start and see your comments. We have here Mr. Saeed. He's telling Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Mr. Saeed. Nice to see you here. Until I get your questions, I will start talking about some general topics. And please type the comments in the comments, whatever questions you have, whatever queries you might have in your daily tasks in construction planning, and we will be discussing it in these live sessions. What is in my mind now regarding construction planning is what I'm trying to influence is always the mentality of the planning engineer should not be only to provide some kind of colored reports rather than a real good plan. We have here a question from Mr. Saeed. Schedule of 1000 villa precast erection. This is a very good question, and especially I did a similar project, and I know how you will feel and what is the difficulties you will face. Let's see your comment, this one. When I prepare a schedule, I divide the villa by zone wise and mention start and finish date, so each zone. But client asking the schedule villa by villa as well as floor wise. Can you please help me? Yes, of course, I can help you. Because I was in a very similar situation, exactly the same. What I did, actually, it was not easy, first of all, to convince the client how to schedule. It was 600 villa and 200 apartments, something like this. So what I did, I collected zones like exactly you did, zone wise, and in each zone wise, I made a type. Let's say type A apartment, type B apartment, type A villa, type B villa, type C villa, and so on. And inside each type, in each zone, I know how many villas or apartments. And I prepared the schedule like this. Okay. Now the client came and tell me, no, we needed villa by villa or building by building. First of all, I told my client, okay, this will result a huge time schedule. We cannot manage, we cannot update. If we started the updating Saturday, we'll finish it maybe next week. So how I will give you the updates? But alternatively, and since I already have my cost loaded very well done, and it was in Excel, I told him alternatively, I can give you each villa, each number of villa, each building, what is the progress on it in Excel, not in Primavera. Because Primavera has some limits. What I mean by limits, when the activities is more than 2000 activity or something like this, it will be very difficult to even schedule it. It will be very difficult to update it. But in Excel, it is very easy and it is convenient to update things on Excel. So after a long discussion with my client, we came to a conclusion that, okay, we'll have each villa, each apartment in one Excel sheet, and in the Primavera, okay, you will have the zone-wise, type-wise update. And actually, I based on this one my PPE course, Professional Planning Engineer, which I discuss in detail how to manage large projects. When you have project with a huge data, huge amount of work, how you can manage it? It is not an easy task, to be honest with you, Mr. Said. So my advice to you, keep trying to convince the client to be working as zone wise, okay? Because if you started to make it in building wise, it will be a nightmare. Really, it will be a nightmare for you. But in the other hand, you can give the client Excel sheets, okay, showing this should be extracted from your cost and resource loading sheet. This sheet should tell the client what is the progress in each apartment and each bill. This is in my opinion. If you have other questions, please let me know. I will be very happy to answer it for you. We have one message from Ove. I hope I'm telling your name correctly. Good day to you too. Okay. Continues our general talking until I get some new comments or questions. The mentality of the planning engineer is very important. Why it is very important? Because you can see what others cannot. You can see the progress where it is going on. You can see the problems. You can see where are the potential risks. Okay, and your job is to escalate these readings to your team. So, if you are a very good planning engineer, technical wise, but you are not paying attention to the communication wise, you are not communicating with the people or your project team, it might be difficult to tell them what are the risks and the potential delays will come from. This will bring us to the first step when you are creating a schedule. When you are creating a schedule, take the feedback from your project team. Let them be accountable to your time schedule. Let them feel that they build it with you. When this happens, when you take their advice, their recommendation, their worries in your consideration while you are creating a time schedule, then they will feel that they are part of this project time schedule and they will be keen to accomplish the job, finish it on time. If you did the project baseline by your own, okay, and then no one interfere with you while you are creating your baseline, then they might not feel that they are accountable. They don't feel any responsibilities towards your baseline. In that case, okay, they might not give you accurate update. They might not be interested to prove that this baseline works. On the other hand, when you take their opinion deeply, what I mean here, I go with every discipline in the world and I ask them what you need to see in your scope of work, how we can divide it, what is the best solutions for you. Of course, if they are telling me something not logical, I don't accept it. If they are giving me very long duration, I don't accept it. I'm telling them we have certain duration in our project, so we should complete the project within certain duration. So accordingly, we have some discussions, and we end up with a very good baseline. And the most important thing, they are accountable to it. They feel that they are part of its creation. So, yeah, this is my advice. We have one question here from Mr. Said also, how to remove out of sequence in easy way. Okay, very good question. Out of sequence, you have to ask yourself first from where it came from. Out of sequence activities, it came from wrong relationships, or you maybe impose some dates, you put some constraints. We need this project to, or this activity to start on this date and start on this date. So first of all, you need to solve any illogical relationship. If you have some relationships not logic, you need first to solve this issue. After you solve the wrong relationships, I will tell you what I'm doing myself, because this is not easy to, or it is something can be done blindly without thinking, because you might destroy all your relationships in the schedule. But what I do, I from the log, when I schedule the Primavera, from the log I filter the out of sequence activities and start going through one by one. Unfortunately, I'm doing it. There are ways to solve these problems faster, but if you are 100% correct what you are doing, for example, let's say that you have out of sequence activity because of some kind of relationship between block and masonry. So you can filter all the block and all the masonry, export the relationships in P6, separate sheet from P6, then modify these relationships and import it again. In that case, you solve it a specific problem in your project or your schedule with a specific solution. You don't have to do it one by one, but on the other hand, you also maintain the thinking. You should see what you are doing before you are doing it. If I didn't answer your question 100%, just tell me if you have something else in mind. Coming back again to Mr. Said, what will be best relationship between two zones? Okay. Since you have a horizontal project, this is not vertical project. It means you will have a very big float. You have 1,000 units. These 1,000 units cannot be finished in one time, definitely. So you have to finish some of the work ahead of the time. This will give you a really huge total float. So what I was doing, I was creating a control milestone. This is not contractual milestone. Be sure that you name it as a control milestone. Control milestone, you will say, okay, I will finish zone 1 in this date, zone 2 in this date, zone 3 in this date. And impose a date of finishing each zone. So you will finish zone 1, let's say 6 months before the project completion date, and put it must finish by. And link all the zone 1 activities to this milestone, and from this milestone to the project completion date. In that case, you will reduce the float, okay, and you will have correct relationships between zones, because if you have one zone with relationship to another zone, it will give you not accurate critical path. The other way is to make it team based. What I mean by team based, let's say you have the precast subcontractor. The precast subcontractor cannot work in 1,000 villa at the same time. His capacity is to work, let's say, in 10 villas per time. So you have to schedule it that the precast work should be started in these 10 villas. After it will be completed, it will start in the other 10 villas, and so on. So you make it resource-wise, okay, by connecting the capabilities or the capacity of your main elements in the project, or you make it by control milestones. I use both methods. I don't see any problem to use any of them. Your third question, while our scope is design, production, delivery, and erection, is it necessary to show production and delivery? Yes, of course. We should show the delivery production, because how you will base your schedule activities without the delivery dates. In my working experience, I always put the key materials delivery in my schedule. However, I have another file, I call it a procurement tracking sheet, which includes all the materials in the project. Of course, I don't put nails on something like this, but I mean all the materials that requires, let's say, more than 3 weeks to be delivered. And from this procurement tracking sheet, I track all the material of the project, but I don't put all of them in the schedule. It will give us a lot of problems. Also, I saw engineers, they are putting all the materials in the Primavera schedule. What I mean by materials, they are putting concrete, masonry, um, porcelain tiles, whatever, they are putting it in the Primavera itself. This is not correct. Primavera is not designed to carry all these resources. Alternatively, you should put one resource, okay? And you call this resource material, only one resource. Then, in your Excel data loading, okay, you know what is the material of this resource. You can make the distribution from Primavera to know how what is the quantity required every month or every week from this material resource, and then you will show the relevant resource in Excel. But imagine if you have like this 1,000 villa, how you put the materials on Primavera? It can't be. It can't be at all. And also the cost. I see also some people that are putting concrete and blah 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 in order to calculate the cost. No, cost should be calculated in Excel. Then we load the final result of the cost calculation into Primavera. So we will have the backup when you see. When I was doing some interviews with the planners in Dubai, I asked one planner, okay, how you calculated this cost? He was showing me sample of his work. He said, I did it in P6 and I completely forget how I was calculating it. But if you have your cost loading and resource loading sheet in Excel, then you can check it and tell exactly how it was calculated based on quantity, based on percentage, or whatever. Okay, so another question we have here from Mr. Khalid Salah. How to make procurement plan? This is very good question actually. Okay, how to make procurement plan? What is procurement plan? Before making any documents, I think what I need from this document. What is the requirement from this document? Procurement plan. I need from a procurement plan to know what are the materials I have. Okay, when it should be submitted, when it should be approved, when it should be the manufacturer should start, okay, when it should be shipped, when it should be delivered, when it is required on site. So the steps are the following. First of all, I'll go to each department in my company, okay. I ask them, what is the list of the material do you have? Okay. And from the list of the materials, okay, we define we define for each material what is the lead time. Lead time is the time or the duration required from the PO date until it is delivered to the site. Okay. After we define these two information, I take this information, okay, and I'm trying to link each material to an activity in my schedule. Let's say I have porcelain tiles. Porcelain tiles, I have too many porcelain tiles in my schedule. I have bare floor, bare building, or whatever. But in the material, I have porcelain tile, bare size. So I ask this size of, porcelain tiles, where it is exist, the team will tell me, okay, this porcelain tile it is existing in this type of buildings. So I get the first building which will start in this porcelain tile. So I know now the date and the lead time. From the date, I know when it should be delivered to the site. And I go backward. I know the date it should be delivered to the site, and usually I make it 2 or 3 weeks before the activity start date. So I need the activity to be delivered 2 3 days before the start date of the activity. Then I go back for using the lead time and put when this material should be purchased. And I go backward, and according to my contract, I know how many days the consultant need to review the material. Let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So I go back to the material submittal date and so on. By doing this, I will have a complete list of procurement, which is showing to me the most important columns are the following: material name, trade, if it is electrical, mechanical, plumbing, whatever, planned submittal date, planned approval date, planned PO date, planned delivery date, required on-job date. These are the component of the procurement plan from my point of view. And some planners they don't pay a lot of attention to the procurement plan. However, in my opinion, it is very important because if the material is not delivered on time, what we will do with the activity? We cannot start it. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Well, good day. My question is, if we have more than 100 drawings, is it required to add all these drawings in the schedule? Definitely not. Definitely. Don't bump your schedule with too many activities. It will be hard to update later on. Alternatively, okay, let's say you have the foundation shop drawings. Foundation shop drawings can be 10, 20 drawings. You put one activity only in your schedule. And we create another log. We call it shop drawing log. How we are doing shop drawing log? Same what we did in the procurement log. Shop drawing log, I go to the each department. What is the list of drawings you have? Okay. And accordingly, I try to link this list of drawings to the activities I have in my schedule. And if I have, let's say, 1,000 shop drawing in my list, I only summarize them to maybe less than 50 in my schedule. So I don't recommend to put all your drawings in this schedule. Uh, Typical details, group one, group two, group three. Of course, you don't need to do it. Don't need to do it. Here, George. Hello, I just attended. Welcome. Mr. Khalid, great, thank you. You are welcome. I would like to ask something. Ask it. You ask it here. My professional is civil engineer. How can I know electrical activity or mechanical activity and how to know sequence of them? Very good question. I'm a civil engineer. I don't know anything about electrical or mechanical. Not a big deal. Go and ask the engineer. When I have electrical and mechanical activities, first of all, I do my homework. What was my homework? By the way, I have one PDF file. It is available free in the website called MEP Guide for Planning Engineers. I created myself because of this problem. This MEP Guide for Planning Engineers, I hired one MEP engineer, senior one, and I told him, okay, each activity, I would like to know how it look like, both for me, a picture for it, what is the predecessor, what is the successor, and how it is installed. So I recommend you go to planningengineer.net website and search for MEP guide for planning engineer. It is very nice. But if you don't know how after did all your homework, don't know something new, don't know it. No problem at all. Go to the electrical engineer, go to the mechanical engineer, ask him or her, what is this activity? You will ask three questions. What is this activity? What is done before? What is done after? Then you start learning the activities and how it looks like, and there is nothing wrong with it at all. If you are senior manager, doesn't matter. You don't have to know everything. Be sure that you will ask your team. And at the beginning, I mentioned this that whenever you ask your team, it is a good thing, not bad thing. They will feel that they are part of this project. Go ask them, send them an email. Uh, so it is fine to ask anyone about the sequence of work, electrical and mechanical activities. Here, I'm following from Zimbabwe. Hello from Egypt. George, this is I answered you already. Here, thank you. You are welcome. We have here one Arabic question. Uh, Assalamu alaikum, engineer. If there is any possibility to explain progress of work, total progress of work, not the activity from quantity, how to unify units? Ah, Zuhair, Mr. Zuhair, this is very nice question. Thank you very much. There is a famous mm, example saying apple to apple. Sometimes I see people, they are comparing the progress or calculating the project progress based on quantity. Okay. What is the quantity? Ah, it is mixed. Ah, how come? I should compare apple to apple. When I would like to compare the quantity, I should put a weight for it. This weight is the cost. The most accurate weight is the cost or the manpower. I cannot put the quantity only unless I will filter my report for one quantity only. If I filter the report based on one quantity only, then it's okay. But I will have linear meter of skirting along with cubic meter of concrete along with square meter of plaster. It doesn't make sense. You have to have one unit. This one unit can be unified whether by converting it to cost or converting it to budgeted man hours or filter one activity per report. Okay, we have here one question from Mr. Tanvir Arif. Hello, how to link sequence, feed, and detail engineering, and how to link technical safety reports like la la la. Why you need to do this? I mean, if you have some special requirements in your project to link activity like engineering, technical safety reports, I think it is better to have separate log for it. Don't put it in your schedule. Unless you have a certain requirement, then you put it as a normal activity. They will have technical report. For example, technical report for soil should be done before starting the foundation. Yes, this is makes sense. But technical crashing result for concrete after 28 days, you don't need to put it in your schedule. Schedule will not include everything. Here, there, very thank you. Please will follow and like your video because you answer me and help me. Thank you. I'm here for you. You are welcome to follow me in all social media. You will find, by the way, in the description of this video, my social networks. I have YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. This is the main three channels. And inshallah, in the next days, I'll be active on lives and videos and so on. You are welcome to subscribe to these channels so you can catch me when I am online. Mr. Khalid Salah, after weekly update, the earned value from the last week or month reduced. How to save cash or resources for each month after each update? Good question. Okay, I have two answers for this. First answer, there is something in Primavera called save period. Okay. Second answer, which I prefer, is to always export your progress update in Excel. Okay. Let's say this is week one. This is your first update. Then next week update will be the cumulative of the week number two minus week number one. So it will save it always in Excel. This is what I prefer and what I advise if anyone asks me this question. But if you want to do it in Primavera, you can always store period. I will try to make one video for it. But I prefer to rely on Excel because I see the calculations in Excel. I don't see it in Primavera. I don't know how they did it. But in Excel, I can see it. I know what is going on, what is behind the scenes. I can see it in Excel. So, in answer to your question, okay, you have one of two options. First one is to save periods in Primavera. You can Google it, or I'll try to make one video for it. Second thing is to export in Excel and start each week deducting or deducting the previous week from it, so it will give you the progress of this week. Hi, sir. What is the best way to improve my skills in planning fields? Learn. Simple. Try to learn from a good source of information. That's it. Keep learning. Keep asking. Try to answer others' question, by the way. How I learned planning by answering your questions. I became better planner by asking questions. I don't know the answer of all your questions. Definitely, I don't. But when I receive question, I try to find a solution for it. I learn something new. When it face me in the next situation in real life, then I have some back mind information. I know how to deal with this situation. So try to answer your colleagues' questions. And the first step, of course, take some course, try to learn from YouTube, from buy a course. By the way, the investment in learning is the best investment ever. Never ever feel that the price of learning is expensive. I remember I spent 3 years paying almost half of my salary to take my master degree, and I never regret about it. So then don't mind if you learn something new, and put for yourself a schedule. Let's say every week I will learn one, two, three, four, five. By the way, we are creating something new called Planning Engineer Portal. It is monthly basis. Go to the channel, you will find more details about it. If you are interested, you are welcome. Mr. Marwan, E1 and E2 requirements. Okay, this remind me with the old days. E1 and E2. E1 and E2 are created mainly by Turner Construction International. E1, as I remember, for shop drawing, E2 for procurement. So if you go to the beginning of this video, I discussed both of them. E1 is for shop drawings, E2 for procurement, and this was created by Turner Construction International. They call it this name specifically for them. Here we have one question. I am a civil engineer. I'm interested in planning. My question is, how do I integrate the actual work activity and cash flow to reflect the progress update? Very simple. Since you are a planning engineer, not and since you are a civil engineer, not a planning engineer, that's why you might think it is difficult. We create in our planning schedule, we will create list of activity. Each activity is linked to the BOQ items. Okay. So simply I update the BOQ item. Let's say this item is 100 cubic meter. I finish 50. It means this is 50%, which will be reflected in the Primavera, giving you the earned value. This earned value is the amount of money you executed or you finished. Okay, and you compare this earned value to the project total value. So the project total value 1000 and your earned value is 100. It means your overall progress is 10%. Very simple, very easy. If you studied it, you will know it is very simple and very easy. If you like this type of discussion, live discussion, please let me know and type in the comments that you would like more session of this. And what is the best timing for you for to have such sessions? I'll be very happy to answer all your questions because I'm learning from you. يعني if you are learning something from me also I'm learning from you. Trying to answer your questions is something great. I appreciate it, and I hope you will follow me in the social media and we will have great sessions inshallah in the near future. Maybe every couple of days I'll make one. So be sure to follow me in the social media so you'll catch me when I am live. So you can ask a question or you will watch this recorded version later on. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.